I find 3D printing fascinating, especially since my husband Ross has recently been spending lots of time printing some very interesting objects on his 3D printer. To me, it's amazing that a length of plastic tubing or filament can be fed through a machine and come out as a pot, a door handle, or basically any object you want, including car parts. Incidentally, it's not actually plastic, but a polyester made from the fermentation of plant material. I've been observing the process Ross goes through as I admire the objects he creates. He needs to begin with a design, either one already available online or one he creates himself. This design process can take a lot of time as adjustments need to be made, measurements are tinkered with, and aesthetic elements need fine-tuning. Once the design is finalised, the actual process of printing begins. This is where determination is called for, as things can go wrong. If the filament holds too much moisture, the created object comes out flawed. If the design is not quite right, parts of the object might be missing, like the pot that ended up without a bottom, which we now use as a shade for tea light candles. Some of the plant pots and vases Ross has been making take 8 or more hours to print, so it can be very frustrating when the end product is not what's expected. This may mean going back to the design process, thinking about what needs to be adjusted, what caused the problem. There is something joyous about this process. It really is a journey of discovery. It's about exploring designs and patterns, thinking about what can be created and how to do it. It's about playing with different coloured and different types of filament. There are beautiful silken colours which make a vase look like it's made from satin. Some filaments are so strong that metal car parts can be made, and some filaments can be used medically for joint replacements. You can even 3D print a house out of concrete. Of course, not with a 3D printer in our house. Even a small personal 3D printer can open you up to an exciting journey of discovery as you explore the possibilities and limitations of your printer and go to the very edges of your imagination and creativity. As I watch Ross at work and see what emerges from the printer, I recognise that this process can be likened to how we live our lives creatively and fruitfully, however that may look for each of us. We too need to start with a design or a plan. How do we want to live our lives? What do I want my life to look like? What kind of person do I want to become? If I want to become more fit, I need a plan to help me get there. If I want a particular career, I work out the steps I need to take along the way. I need to know what I'm aiming for so I can work towards it step by step. And sometimes this design phase may take longer than expected, especially if we don't exactly know what we're looking for. If I want to be happier or more fulfilled in my life, I need to work out what that looks like, then devise a plan to get there. And following any plan, particularly one that is beautiful and good, requires determination. There'll always be failures and setbacks. Things don't always go to plan. Perhaps we discover the plan is faulty or missing a significant step in the process. Perhaps the bottom falls out of something. Once we know where we are going, we need determination to keep going, especially when we discover the flaws in the process and our own limitations. When this happens, we can always come back to the plan, play around with the design, and find out where we might have gone wrong. We may even discover that the plan we are working from doesn't even line up with the outcome we desire. And this is where discovery comes in. Living life well with creativity and fruitfulness is a glorious process of discovery. We explore the limits of our own skills and knowledge and figure out what new things we want to learn. We can then choose to step into new adventures of learning and growth, discovering that the world is bigger and more beautiful than we realized. We might discover more about ourselves, hidden flaws, and not yet discovered abilities and qualities. Discovering and learning to trust our innate wisdom can be an exciting process. We may discover new companions who want the same things we do, or who have the same perspectives, who can help us come up with new designs and strengthen our determination. Discovering some of these things is a bit like finding a beautiful new color of filament that completely changes how a particular object looks when it's finished. A 3D printer seems pretty complex to me, but is easily understood by those with experience and practice. Life itself is much more complicated and can't easily be summed up in a few words, but it is kind of fun to liken the 3Ds of 3D printing to how we can live our lives, with design, determination, and discovery, and watch beautiful things emerge.